Professional investors are extraordinarily bullish. You know, we're going to talk price of your favorites. We're also going to talk about Poland denying Bitcoin shutdown, girlfriend. Cftc introduces some new ways to be pro crypto. Missouri wants to get into the action, and XP price talk at the end.
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
Bitcoin sitting at 95,948. A bit of softness showing up as Poland shuts something down. Oh, whoa, whoa, no. Your comments come first because you, the viewer, matter most. Real Hillbilly searches off says, I didn't hear anything official about Japan's central bank switching to the XRP ledger this week. Guess that rumor was that. Just a rumor. Makes me think that the March 10th Fed now switch to XRPL is also likely bullcrap. What are your thoughts? Dude, for real. They are not switching to crypto with Fed now. They are sticking to ACH. They can make those payments 24/7, no worries. Be very careful out there, everyone, because there's a lot of content creators. And one of the big ones out there, I remember them saying, oh, the Russian stock market's going to be built on XRPL. Said that a couple years ago and it was still bullshit. What about BitBoy saying year after year after year, oh, they've already settled? No, they haven't, girlfriend, because we're still dealing with the shit case. Follow Me says, all YouTube broadcasters be like, this bull season, this bull run, the next altcoin season, as if these things happen like clockwork. No, we don't print green candlesticks all the time. And remember, I have jobs to bring you the news, whether it's good or bad, happy or sad. Edwin, one thing Edwin knows is name the movie. RIP Paul Walker, donating some support to the channel. Thank you kindly, sir. Says, I'd love to gamble, but perhaps supporting Klaus is a better investment than buying XRP. I appreciate it, Edwin. Tell me no down below. It's that movie. Rob Parsons hanging out with us, friend from the north, some Canadian support. Thank you kindly, sir. Says, thank you. Well, you're very welcome, Rob, and I'm glad to bring you the news even while on vacay. Now let's do the heat map. Bitcoin sitting at 95,920, ETH 2592. Definitely seeing some market softness. Bitcoin's having some problems breaking that 100,000 mark. And we're at the phase right now where cryptos are being tugged up and down by BTC. Now, let me point out something really crazy for you. Look at SWE pulling back even further. And remember, SWE had a massive pump from like $1 to like what, $4 or $5 there, and it's pulling back now. XRP at 238, we're going to talk price wise. HBAR sitting at 23.1, Doja 24.3, while XLM is 32.7. Bitcoin traders, crypto markets are taking a pause, waiting for new price drivers. The latest drop in the price of BTC and the alts has prompted traders to take a pause amid the presence of strong price drivers that managed to reverse the downtrend. Open interest in BTC futures and indicators of traders' activity has been steadily declining since January 21st. Currently, they stand at their lowest level since November 18th. Holy crap. Okay, so basically what's happening here is the market is like, okay, cool, Trump administration. Now it's time to put the rubber to the road. All that stuff you said, time to start making it happen. So stop screwing around and make it work. And that's where we're sitting, right? We've heard a lot of stuff about, oh, new SEC chair, oh, CFTC, all that kind of stuff. Awesome. We're still waiting for regs. We're still waiting for ETFs. We're still waiting for the case to be over. And yet you got a bunch of channels out there trying to promote the bullshit to get your views. Remember, realistic approach, that's what I bring to you. Oh, we're getting close to 40,000. Oh, look, new sub just hit up on the screen. You can't even make that shit up. 37,665. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 40 in the short month of February. Missouri introduces a bill to establish a BTC reserve. Okay, this is cool. Getting some states getting in on this action. Missouri Representative Ben Keithley introduced the bill seeking to establish a BTC strategic reserve that would allow the state treasurer to invest and hold in Bitcoin. The bill filed on February 6 positions Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation and aims to diversify the state's financial holdings. Now, this is really cool, but I'm going to share with you shortly a story about Poland saying, you know what? Bitcoin is insecure, so we don't want a piece of that action. The bill creates a Bitcoin strategic reserve fund and allows the state treasurer to receive, invest, and hold BTC under certain circumstances. I am a fan of the store of value play because I got to be honest with you. As the government just pisses our money down the toilet, misuses our tax money, sends it overseas to terrorist groups, yeah, you want to hedge against that crap, right? Yeah, and as we're peeling back the layers of the onion of government spending, we're seeing that a lot of our tax dollars are going to shit. Hey, UK fans watching, I bet your tax dollars aren't going to what you wanted to. Hell no. Think about all the crime that's happening in the UK. Australian fans, you're thinking the same thing. Canadian fans, guess what? You're thinking it as well. The government's pissing away our money and not using it correctly. Good news here. CFTC announces Crypto Industry Forum for Digital Asset Pilot Program. All right, but here's the problem. And I'm going to give you the realistic view here. They're just going to be slow as shit. Like for real. This is steering the Titanic with like half the engine power that you really need. Acting CFTC Chairman Caroline Pham called the pilot program a groundbreaking initiative for the nascent digital asset sector. CFTC announces crypto industry forum for digital assets. Ooh, okay. According to the CFTC, the pilot program will explore tokenized non-cash collateral, which includes stablecoins and similar products. That's going to be very interesting because if all of a sudden we see CFTC action going with stablecoins, then that kind of leaves the SEC to take the rest of it, right? But then again, we've seen utility tokens, XRP, XLM, and so forth are going to be treated differently. That's good news for us. CEOs from stablecoin issuer Circle, centralized exchanges like Coinbase and Crypto.com, and Ripple will attend the forum. Golf clap. Golf clap. You heard me correctly. Ripple will attend the forum. Acting CFTC Chairman Caroline Pham said continued engagement with the crypto industry would pave the way towards fulfilling Trump's administration's pro-crypto promises. Okay, it's just going to take time. And I think that's where the frustration grows. And that's where my frustration is right here. It's like, okay, you've known how we felt for crypto so long. The elections were won in November. Why weren't you working on shit from November till now? Why are we now coming up with this crap? Because the United States and other governments out there, it's like steering the Titanic. Bitwise, exact. Professional investors are extraordinarily bullish. Oh, interesting. According to Hugin, professional investors are extraordinarily bullish. Meanwhile, the retail segment is at its worst it's been in several years. It's like living in two separate worlds. And I totally agree with you. You hear all the bigs out there say how cool this stuff is. But remember, the bigs are able to hold their billions on the sidelines and wait for regs and all that stuff. Meanwhile, us in retail, we've already gotten in. We want the action. Jeff Dorman, Chief Investment Officer at ARCA, has also noted such a trend. We've never had more bullish news in our industry's history, yet the ratio of positive news to sentiment price is basically infinity. Yeah, so basically what they're happening is you got lots of good news, price sucks balls. Good news, ball suckage of price. And what they're saying is, look, the whales out there are like, yo, this is great. Well, you know what my news is, the whales? Well, start spending some of your fucking money and helping out, man. Yet Dorman is convinced this is largely just a social media phenomenon, and traditional finance is moving to embrace crypto. We're tiny compared to them and still largely irrelevant. That's actually very true. If you look at the crypto market compared to traditional finance markets out there, we are very small. But I don't think this is just a social media thing. I think we're also seeing it too. When the dips happened, right, and especially with XRP recently, where did the money come from to prop it back up? That was from the Korean won pairing. So that wasn't coming from USD, USDT. That wasn't coming from the United States, UK, Australia, Canada. No, that was coming from the Koreans. So yeah, I think the retail segment out there is fairly fed up with all the good news with the lack of price action. Now, had a little bit of pro BTC news in the beginning. Well, now it's time to what everyone pee on the faces of maxis. We're gonna R. Kelly them, if I could say that. Poland's central bank rules out Bitcoin for reserves. Listen to their reason, though, why they don't want to go into BTC. Now, remember, though, there is a Polish candidate out there that is running on the premise of adding BTC as a strategic reserve. The National Bank of Poland has firmly ruled out the possibility of incorporating BTC into its currency reserves, citing significant security concerns. NBP President and Monetary Council Chairman Adam Golopinski emphasized the necessity of absolute security in reserve assets during a recent press conference. He stated, "We will not," so say that again, "we will not consider Bitcoin under any circumstances, as reserves must be absolutely secure." Whoa. Currently, the NBP's reserves, right, National Bank of Poland, are predominantly held in gold, US dollars, and euro, with other assets playing a minor role. So Bitcoin, denied. Dikembe Mutombo action, not in my house. All right, let's swing it on over to big crypto broad spectrum news. Volume from the markets right now are sitting at 131 billion. 35 right now in the fear and greed index. The CMC 100 index is slightly down 0.89%. Market cap is up a little bit to 3.23 trillion. And if you see any trolls out there saying that the market cap is going to 2 trillion, you can tell them to shut the up, girlfriend, because you're just as dumb as those people out there saying that the Russian stock market's going to be built on XPL. Why the would the Russian stock market be built on a US based company thing? That's just the opposite of what Russia wants. They want to do their own thing. Now, specifically, the price of XRP looks like this. We've had some lowercase p pumperonis. It's lowercase p. That's why, if you notice in my previous video, the pumperoni had a lowercase p. I make that stuff quite obvious. Now we're floating around what? 239, 240, 230, 250. And okay, is it bad? No, not really. Is it good? No, not really. Is it a discount compared to recent history? Yeah, I think so. But going back to the previous articles that I was sharing with you, the retail segment out there is not feeling as bullish about this as is the bigs, right? As are the professional investors. Okay, then, professional investors, you definitely got a hell of a lot more money than retail. If you're so bullish about it, why aren't you getting into it? Well, it's because a lot of professional investors, they honestly are waiting for regs. That's the truth and reality for it. We all got into crypto early. We got into crypto early before the Gensler days, during the Gensler days, in the wild, wild west of people just stepping on our throats and trying to crush us, right? Professional investors, they don't do that. They're Weenie Hut Jr., okay? They got pequeño huevos, okay? Pequeño huevos, little pequeño huevos, okay? Like carrot stuff, okay? And so the whole thing there is they're waiting for regs. They're waiting for ETFs, which tells me what? If you got the stones, you got the patience, and you got the ability to risk your money, right? Because we know crypto is risky, you can get in before the bigs and let them pump your bags. But retail is scared right now. And what you're seeing is specifically with XRP is just an overall slow downward trend. Why? Because we're still waiting for the case. Hasn't been cleared. We're still waiting for the ETFs. They haven't been approved. In fact, the new SEC head, we still haven't even gotten an update on him yet. And the last update that they provided us in the United States government was January 28th, that it was sent to the banking committee. We have not gotten an update since on the confirmation hearing. So again, United States government is a slow Titanic turd. Looking at the freaking iceberg, going, maybe we should steer away. I don't know. Maybe that iceberg is going to melt before we get there. And the co pilot on the other side is like, the fuck are you talking about? That thing ain't gonna melt, you dumbass. We're gonna crash right into it. No, it might melt. For real. That's where the frustration is coming in. So, does the frustration, though, change how you're playing this? Because I gotta be honest with you. What about all the time that we spent between 30 and 50 cents? Now we're still way, way green from there. Newer viewers, newer people into XRP are looking at this going, yeah, my risk versus reward's a bit different. And it's true, yours is a bit different. But do you believe that XRP will go up in price once the case is over? Once we get regs, once we see somewhat retroactive help for utility tokens, which I broke that story to you. What about the ETFs where they said they're going to buy it directly from the exchanges, which will help us from supply and demand? What about all these bigs out there that are like, yo, we want to get into it once the regs get in? Do you believe that's going to help out the price? And are you able to weather the storm? Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Volume is still healthy right now at 9.1 billion, up 22% last 24 hours. I'd like to see volume stay high through the weekend, kind of help us out with the price action as much as possible. But the reality is this. It seems right now that XRP is getting a little bit more comfortable in that 225, 250 range. It's not good, but then again, it's not bad. And honestly, it's all about when you got in. OG viewers out there, you're like, yo, we got into 30, 50 cents, so we're still deep in the green. Newer ones, newer people that got into XP, you're going, oh, this kind of sucks ass. So it really is about how you feel about the market and how you feel about the future perspectives. So you got a lot of stupid rumors out there about XRP this, XRP that. And the problem with that is it actually hurts the market because there's a bunch of people out there that believe it. And then when that date happens and it doesn't happen, they're like, oh, this sucks. And what do? They sell. That's bad. That's just as bad as the stupid $40,000 buyback crap that was proposed, or the channels where you're like, XRP to 10,000 by Friday. And you're like, bro, Friday's like come and gone. What kind of crack are you smoking? And then the next week, they're like, XRP to 10,000 by Thursday. And you're like, dude, for real, man? So yeah, we kind of got to navigate this shitstorm of fake news. Fed now is not, I repeat, is not using crypto. That is 100% true. It is ACH. They are playing it in a big bubble where that money stays within that bubble and they can transfer it back and forth internally within that system and then switch it to different regional ones, which is in that bubble. Yeah, they kind of figured it out, everyone. So they are using ACH. In fact, That was even one of the things they said at the crypto conference. They're using the ACH system. So, yeah, we're not using crypto for payments yet, which means what? We're still waiting for regs. And that's the problem that we're facing right now. It's a waiting game and it's so frustrating. Here's the most frustrating part, okay? For any of you out there, right, with jobs, okay, and hopefully that's most of you. Here's the thing. You sit there and you're at work and you're like, you know what? If we did this differently, it would work way better. Then you say it to your boss, and your boss is like, nah, I don't know about that. And you're like, dude, are you stupid? Like, I actually work the line. I'm actually the person that does this. I'm actually the person that's responsible for like the installs, manufacturing, and all that stuff, right? And your boss is like, nah, I don't know. So then you're like, okay, cool. Few days later, you're like, hey, if we did this, we could probably save X, Y, and Z time. We could probably get breakage down. We could probably push more units out, that whole thing. And your boss is like, well, you know what? I think that's not a bad idea. Let me see what the up theirs have to say. 2 months later, you're like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, oh, well, we haven't had the meeting yet on it. We've been talking about other things like trying to save money on getting cheaper toilet paper to keep our costs down. That's just like our governments right now. You and I, we see the problems, right? We are the ground level workforce, right? We've been dealing with crypto. We've seen what the SEC has been doing. We've seen all this stuff. And we're like, yo, if you fix this, and this, we'd be good to go. Yet they're not listening. And they're taking their sweet ass time. And that's where this is getting frustrating. Because even though we got a new regime in, the new regime is still the same thing. It's slow, right? The United States government, Australian government, Canadian government, UK government, pick any government you want. There's a lot of bureaucratic red tape, and that bureaucratic red tape is slow AF. And that's what bothers me about this whole thing. Is if you really want things to get better, we need to speed up our processes so that we don't steer the Titanic into the iceberg. And that's what's happening right now. The retail segment is looking at this going, there's an iceberg right there. If you turn left now, you could avoid it. And the government, and the big institutional people out there are like, yeah, we see that iceberg, but I don't think we're ready yet to steer it. And you're like, yeah, but if you steer it now, you'll avoid it. And they're like, yeah, it's not really scheduled right now for us to steer it. So maybe next week we'll talk about it. And you're like, yeah, but if you wait, then we're probably going to hit that tip of the iceberg. And they're like, nah, I don't know. We're the ones in charge. We know better than you. So go. And we're like, so you just want to steer it into the iceberg? And that's what we're dealing with. So I totally understand. Retail is pissed. Bigs are happy. Bigs are used to taking things slow. I before I did all this stuff, I was a corporate person. And I worked for one of the biggest manufacturing firms in the world. Actually, for the industry I was in, it was the biggest one in the world. And I dealt with this plenty of times. The biggest problem we had was corporate doing stuff fast, and they never would. I remember there was a competitor by me, and I was like, yo, they just did a whole bunch of changes. They're going to start stealing some of our market segment. And I was like, hey, I need approvals to do this, this, and this. And they're like, well, all right, but I'm gonna then have to send it to my boss, who's gonna have to send it to his boss, and then and before you know it, I was just like, yo, I'm doing it myself. I'd rather, ask for forgiveness than for permission, because if I ask for permission, it takes too freaking long. And that's what we're dealing with right now. You and I are ground level and we see things that happen, and we see things faster than the government does. We see faster than the professional traders. And that's what the professional traders are used to. The professional traders out there are used to taking their time. They're used to just screwing around, going slow with stuff, and being used to the Titanic ways of steering things. Honestly, that needs to change. And I'm hoping it changes soon, because we did hear from the crypto czar and his buddies up there that they're going to have regs for us within, like, I think it's like 94 days from now, which is awesome. But that's still slow, right? I mean, is it really that hard? Like, do you need that long a time to draft these bills? I mean, this is stuff you should have been working on since you won the election in early November. But yet, no, we're appointing new groups to talk about it. Fuck, why didn't you talk about it for the last several months? This is just how it is. They use us as their piggy bank. They piss our tax money away. And then when we're like, yo, we voted for you peeps because we thought you were going to be pro crypto, they're like, we are pro crypto in a couple months, maybe, and stuff. And we're like, yo, for real, man. So I get it. Choo choo, bitches.